Yes, this is Zoo Parade, brought to you by the Kennel Products Division of the Quaker Oats Company, makers of these three wonderful dog foods. Kennel biscuits with the meat meal baked right in. Kennel meal, the meal with sniff appeal. And Kennel Ration, America's first canned dog food. And now, to tell you why the crown is on the bear, here is Marlin Perkins, director of the Lincoln Park Zoo.
Hello there. I'm glad you could join us again today. Yes, you know, today we're going to award some crowns as monarchs of the animal kingdom. For example, could you think of an animal that might be the monarch of the swamps, or perhaps the monarch of the birds, or king of all snakes? Well, we're going to award monarchs crowns to these monarchs in just a little while, and a lot more too. Crowns like this one for this old bear. Now, I know that bears in the wild state don't wear a crown like this, let alone an old stuffed bear here at the zoo, one that's used to take pictures of people riding on his back. So, old boy, you're going to have to be content to stay out here and watch out after the zoo while I go inside and see who's going to be the first contender for monarch of the animal kingdom. We have a lot of interesting animals lined up today for this very unusual title of outstanding animals that we think we want to see. Someone seems impatient right now to start off as monarch of that animal kingdom. Jim?
Well, Marlin, that's not really Mac's own voice that you heard. See, he's a little shy about talking in front of a lot of people, so we made this record of his voice. But he's certainly a wonderful talker, don't you think?
Oh, he's an excellent talker, Jim, because, and I think he's a good contender for monarch of the birds because he is such a fine talker. He's the kind of a fellow who says words best of any bird, better than even parrots. And these minor birds, and this is a Java minor bird, can be taught to speak on cue. Let's try and see.
Hello, Mac. Hello, Mac.
How?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
How are you?
How are you? Well, maybe he's not going to say anything right now, but that doesn't lessen his possibilities as a contender for this. But I don't want to award the crown just now because we have some very other interesting fellows to come. For example, there is a peacock, Jim, who is a very fine bird as a contender for this crown. And he is a very regal bird, one with excellent plumage, great fan, and he even has a color named after him, Royal Peacock Blue. So I think he's an excellent contender for the title of Monarch of the Birds. Don't you, Jim?
Well, I surely do. I think he's a very beautiful bird, but Marlin, looks to me like over here there's a fellow that's all set to perform for you.
Oh, yeah, that's our duck hawk. Come on. And there's Pierre, having him fly to a lure. Now, here is truly a great bird. See how he came in there for that lure? Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a great one. This is a falcon. This is a duck hawk. And this bird can fly at 60 miles an hour in level flight, and he can fly at 200 miles an hour in a power dive. This is a bird, the cousins of which have been trained as great falcons ever since the days of King Arthur and the old Knights of the Round Table, and long, long before that. I think he's indeed a regal bird and a great, great contender for the throne, rather for the crown of monarch of the birds.
Well, I've got something right here that I think indicates a bird that might be a candidate for the beauty monarch of the birds.
Well, you mean these feathers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, these feathers came, I think, from an ostrich, a bird who, instead of being so beautiful, Jim, is the biggest of all the birds. Not the most beautiful, but one of the strongest and the greatest of the land birds, one that can run at great speed, and so strong that men can ride on their backs. And just like a saddle horse, you see. And whoa, we go across the plains. Well, they can kick too, Jim, and they could kill a man with the blow of their hind feet. And here's how a bird of this sort has to be handled when he is ready to kick, because these are tremendously powerful birds, and birds that could, well, I think he's a great contender.
Does he get the crown?
Well, Jim, I don't think we're going to give him a crown because he's not the smartest guy in the world. Let's go back here to a little smarter one, and one as a representative of the eagles. This is a Bantalore eagle, a fellow by the name of Wallace, who comes from South Africa, who has learned to perch very well. He has excellent eyesight. He has this great curved beak, which I hope he doesn't take a piece of meat out with. He has enormous talons, which you can well see down here on his feet for holding and securing his prey. He has tremendous wings and for this great flight, power of flight that the eagles have. So I think he, too, is a great contender for that title.
How about the bird that flies highest up into the air, though? How about that?
Well, that is a difficult question, Jim, but I think we might consider the California condor as one of the greatest of all of the soaring birds. A fellow who comes in this mountain region here, a fellow who is one of the fastest flying of the great, I don't mean the fast flying, but the greatest soaring bird in the mountain region. They're getting scarce too, Jim. And look at this regal, royal flight as this fellow makes off over the California mountains where he's rigidly protected today. Now there is a great contender for the title of King of all birds.
Does he get the crown?
Jim, my choice of all of these birds, and that's a personal choice, is going to go to this duck hawk.
There's his crown right over there.
Well, I guess so. Here it is. And Pierre, you take care of this crown for the duck hawk because of his great speed. He can outfly any bird in the whole animal kingdom, and so I think I'll make him the choice of all of the birds of prey and all of the birds in the world. And now, Jim, how about giving us the one with the chorus?
Okay, Marlin. Folks, we have a very talented group of singers to perform for you. So if you please, Professor, once again. Ein, zwei, drei, spiel.
Ist das nicht ein Kennelreichen? Ja, das ist ein Kennelreichen. Ist das nicht ein Lean Red Meat? Ja, das ist ein Lean Red Meat. Kennelreichen? Kennelreichen. Lean Red Meat? Lean Red Meat. What we doggies love to eat.
Yes, dogs need and love to eat meat. Plenty of it. Lean red meat, rich in high-quality protein. And the easy, economical way to give your dog lean red meat is in the can that bears this label, Kennel Ration. Kennel Ration is made from juicy steaks and tender roasts like these. Select cuts of U.S. government-inspected horse meat are chopped up and mixed with all the vitamins and minerals your dog is known to need. No wonder Kennel Ration is one of any dog's best friends. Why, it gives him such strong teeth and bones and such a glossy coat. There's even chlorophyllin to help control his doggy odors. Kennel Ration comes in cans and jars with the familiar yellow and blue label at food and pet stores everywhere. Pick up several cans or jars next time you shop. And for extra convenience and savings, buy Kennel Ration by the case.
Kennel Ration, lean red meat. What we doggies love to eat.
I think you can tell from where I am that we have another group of animals as contender for animals of the swampland. All kinds of different kinds of turtles, water snakes, baby alligators, and even possums, which are animals that live in the swampland. And just to prove that to you, look at this old fellow sitting over here in the corner who, come on here, old boy, and you'll see old man possum right over here. Come on, kid, I can't quite reach you. I'll get all wet. And they can really swim, and they even swim underwater. So all of these, any one of these animals might be the contender for the monarch of the swampland. Which one would you choose? You know, sometimes, however, when animals get together in the swamp, they aren't always the most peaceful things in the world. Sometimes we get battles from turtles, like snapping turtles, or rather like soft-shelled turtles in this case. And when they bite, wow, do they go after it. Here are contenders for an area in the swamp. And this nice sandbar they both want. And what do? they battle it out. Ow, boy, let go of my nose. Gee whiz, that hurts. Well, this is a great, great thing. And what they do then finally is just break away into a draw. I don't think anyone won that fight. Alligators, too, live in the swamplands. And when they are in the swamp, boy, they're the ones that rule a certain area, too. Alligators lay eggs, and they cover them up. But we've uncovered them so you can see what they're like. They cover them up because of animals like possums and other creatures who might be around. Even renegade alligators come by to go after their eggs. And so there's always mother alligator is standing nearby to look after the nest and to guard the eggs and the young ones when they hatch. And that's a long, long wait for her. When she isn't looking, sometimes that nest gets interrupted. But she's usually on guard in the water, not too far away, because possums come down, and they like alligator eggs, and they dig into that. Sometimes a renegade alligator, not the mother, comes by too. And when he does, out goes the possum, because possums can't take chances with alligators. But then the mother alligator sees that there's an intruder alligator has come by. So she crawls up close and challenges that fellow to stay away from her nest. And there's her challenging call. And the other one, because he's caught red-handed, has to defend his right, whatever that may be. And there's a battle royal. The mother alligator grabs the intruder by the head with her powerful, powerful jaws, pulls him into the water, and around they go, over and over, churning and churning and churning into a tremendous, tremendous fight. And there is because of their ability to fight so vigorously and to defend their young and their nest, and because of the fact that they have such strong jaws and dig a hole that makes a well for all the other animals to live in, when the swamp goes dry, I think I would have to award the title of Monarch of the Swamp to the alligator, because the alligator is such a great animal in the swamp. And so here is a little alligator. And little alligator, you can represent all the other alligators in a whole swamp, and you can wear the crown of King of the Alligators. Now you can sit right, whoa, kid, you fell off. Well, whoa, brother, I'm glad I looked over here, because here's a cottonmouth moccasin. And I overlooked you, and I've already awarded the contender the crown to the alligator, but I think you ought to get honorable mention, because your fangs are so sharp and your venom so strong and you're so plentiful in all the swamp land. So cottonmouth moccasin, old boy, you get honorable mention as secondary monarch of the swamp land. Well, you know, Jim, I've been making all these awards to the animals. Haven't you a category that you'd like to make an award to?
Yeah, Marlin, I'd like to choose a candidate for Monarch of the Plains. And I've got some wonderful ones to show you, so let's go to Africa and see some of the big candidates for Monarch of the Plains, gathered here around a water hole. You see, of course, some of the smaller animals, warthogs, baboons, mighty impressive, but small compared to the really big animals of the water hole, these hippopotamus, which are the biggest of all the river animals in Africa. I never like to go swimming with those big fellows because they're really big and impressive looking. Of course, the zebra, I think, has got a good chance to be Monarch of the Plains because of their speed and their grace and the wonderful costume that they wear. A striped coat that's really fitting a monarch, I think. And when they're alerted, they can move fast, believe me. As we see them on the opposite bank over here, and something startles them and the whole herd moves off. The impella is a wonderful antelope, very graceful, might be called the monarch of the bounders because they can take such big leaps. And of course, when it comes to height, well, you might say the monarch, at least the contender, would be the giraffe, because he's a fellow who eats off the tops of the tallest trees, and he could certainly wear a monarch's crown and wear it high and proudly. He may be pretty quiet about it, though, because he doesn't have much of a voice. Then the sable antelope is a good contender because of those mighty horns that he has. You know, looks like one horn. That's where the story of the unicorn came from. Actually, he has two horns. They're very strong, and even lions like these are sometimes afraid of them. But the lions aren't afraid of very much in the jungle or out on the plains. And it just seems to me that the lion, self-styled king of beasts, ought to get the crown. Marlin, I see that you've got Lady Jane all ready to come in over here.
Yeah, but she's not very happy about it, Jim.
She doesn't want to be the king of beasts.
Well, I don't know
want to
whether
be the queen of the monarchs.
All right, we got a crown for her, and I can't help but concur with you,
Sure,
Jim.
she should be
that
the monarch of the
that
plains.
Lady Jane should represent all the lions all over the world as being monarch of the plains. You know, Jim, a lot of people think that lions are jungle animals, and they often call them kings of the jungle. Isn't that the title you've often heard
King
about?
of the Jungle.
King of the jungle. But you know, really, lions are, as you've indicated, plains dwellers.
They're out by the water holes and preying on the other animals.
And they live on the animals that live on the plains. There's a natural cycle there between the lions and the antelope and the zebra and all the rest of these grain-eating animals that live on the plains. And so I concur that she should be the monarch of the plains, Jim. And now, here's a word from Earl Nightingale.
Hi, Nightingale again. This time with a word to dog owners who prefer to feed their pets a crumbled biscuit type of dog food. I want to be sure you know about the food of that type that is first choice among American dog lovers and among kennel men who have to know about dog nutrition because that's their business. Kennel biscuit. Kennel biscuit is, by any measure, the finest dog food of its kind. What we refer to as crunchy, chewy nuggets with real meat meal baked right in. Mix it with water or milk or broth. Well, I'm sure your dog's going to find this a very tasty dish indeed. And it has an aroma that dogs really love. But more than that, each nugget is nutritionally complete. Gives him plenty of high-quality proteins and vitamins and minerals and chlorophyllin to help control the doggy odor. Now, remember the name, Kennel Biscuit. Crunchy nuggets of complete nutrition.
Jim, we've awarded crowns to the monarchs of the plains and monarchs of the swamps. I think it's high time that we award a crown to the monarch of the Western Highlands, because in the highland section of the United States we have some truly fine animals. Animals that are great to see anywhere. Deer, for example. Now, will they be the monarchs of the highlands, or will it be the bighorn sheep who can cling so to the, or to the puma, the mountain lion, or to the elk, who have the longest and sharpest antlers in all the western highlands, and are regal in appearance too, wouldn't you say?
We would.
Well, now, you know, all of these animals are preyed upon by the puma, the mountain lion, and except the bear. He doesn't prey on the bear, who is a great champion in his own right, and also a predator, one who preys with the puma on animals like the bighorn sheep, but who are mighty animals because of their horns and their ability to climb high in the crags. And for the deer, and they look so sweet looking at you, but they are alert with their keen eyesight, their keen sense of hearing, their keen sense of smell, always watching out for danger. And danger lurks nearby in shadows, in the form of the puma, who comes dashing out, and when he does, away go the deer, who have seen the puma coming in time, and the flashing of their tails across the road, and then out into the meadow, warn all the other animals of the high regions of the western country that the puma is about, and they'd better be making tracks away from there somewhere. And so away go the deer of the western highlands, and I think I'd have to award the crown to Old Man Puma, who lost this chase, but who often wins in this battle of the American highlands in the west and in every other section of the country where Old Man Puma lives. And then there's another section that I think would be interesting to examine too.
Well, Marlin is going to choose the monarch of the snakes, and one of the ones he'll certainly consider is the rattlesnake. He's quick, he's hot-tempered, and you might say he has a striking manner. Don't you think that he ought to be a candidate, Marlin?
I think he should be, Jim. You move your stick out of the way, and I've got a balloon here that we can maybe demonstrate how quickly this old boy can strike.
Oh, boy.
You can hear his rattle there. Now, let's see if he'll strike this balloon. Come on, old rattlesnake. Come on, pop it, kid. Come on. Just touch him behind, Jim, and see if he'll, with your stick. Get him excited enough to pop this balloon. Oh, he's got to do it.
Yes, he looks like he's pretty annoyed about it.
He's annoyed, Jim, but he's not going to strike today.
Won't you strike that balloon, fella?
No, he's not going to do it. But you know...
Well, that puts 2 strikes against him for the crown, I think.
I think it probably would. But, you know, he has these sharp fangs, as you say. But we could try it once more. Let's just see if he will. Come on, kid. Get hot.
Yeah, be annoyed. I wouldn't like it.
Oh,
Not with
right.
What, Marl?
Come on. Come on, kid. Oh, it's rare that you want a rattlesnake to bite.
Yeah,
when you do, by gum, they don't always do it. And it may be that our floor is a little too cold.
Too cold, and that cools him off.
Yeah,
so
that
he
cools
isn't
him
quite
off.
as aggressive. That's true.
But anyhow, I think he's a good candidate for this business of the monarch of the snakes, because he is the most poisonous of all the snakes in the United States and kills the most people in the United States. The diamondback raptor, as this one is.
But he's not the biggest, is he?
He's not the biggest of all the poisonous snakes. The biggest of all the poisonous snakes is another contender, and that is the king cobra. We have a beautiful... will show you how he spreads his hood. He grows to a length of 18 feet and has enough venom to kill an elephant. We're backing him off with a stick here now so that you can see something of the movement of this fellow who defends his portion of the jungle with all his venom and all his vigor, with being aggressive and taking after people who come nearby or other animals that come nearby. And he is the longest of all of the poisonous snakes of the world, and so I think is a fine contender for the crown of king of the snakes. And he's even more so than the common cobra, because you see he's so big and he has so much venom within his glands that this king cobra is an animal that if he were to come in contact with a person, could chase them, 50, 60, 70 feet, coming at them not as fast as a person could run, but fast enough so that it could really be dangerous. And while he is the longest of all the poisonous snakes in the world, he's still not the biggest snake in the world, and so let's hold up the awarding of the crown of the snakes until we have a chance to see the biggest of all the snakes in the world, which is the regal or reticulated python, right here in this cage. And this python is not, this one isn't as big as they get to be. They get to be 32 feet long, Jim, and a 32-foot snake would be a tremendous snake for a person to handle. You'd have to have a whole crew of men. I think we can handle this little guy, and I think the right way to do it is to reach right in and grab him and get a hold of him this way, and I think I could...
What do you do when he gets a hold of you?
Bring him right out here on the floor of the building.
Gonna bring him over here?
Yeah.
Handle him all right?
Well, I guess so.
Who's got a hold of who?
Well, I think we got hold of both of each other. But you see, these are very powerful constrictors, and as the most poison, he's not poisonous, but he's the biggest of all the snakes, and he's just about as much as a one man could handle. This is about a 10-foot python, Jim. And if he gets much bigger, I'm going to have to quit catching him by hand because this old boy is I'm almost getting to be too big to handle.
You know, I'm not going to help you. Not since the day you gave me that phony rattlesnake for Christmas.
Well, Jim, I was going to give the crown of the snakes to the king cobra, but this guy's got me all wrapped up here, so I think you
I've got the crown, Marlin. If you think we'll do some good, I might give it to him.
He's getting to
Okay, kid, you're the king.
king of all the snakes.
Now, Marlin, I want to say the Zoo Parade is brought to you this week by the Kennel Products Division of the Quaker Oats Company. In a moment, we'll tell you about next week's show.
And now I'd like to take just a moment to tell you something about a meal type of dog food. You know, if the really important information on the packages that dog food comes in were in letters big enough, this is the way it would appear on Kennel Meal. Real meat meal, which means plenty of high-quality protein. Actually, real meat meal is a concentration of proteins for a higher protein content than meat itself. And in Kennel Meal also are the vitamins, the minerals, all your dog's known requirements of these important nutrients, and chlorophyllin to help control his doggy odor. Now, all this nutrition wouldn't mean a thing if the dog didn't like it, but he does. Kennel Meal mixes with liquid to a fine, crumbly texture that most dogs really go for. And Kennel Meal serves the average dog nourishing, appetizing meals for only 7 cents a day.
Marlin, if you can still talk, can you tell us what we're going to have on Zoo Parade next week?
Well, Jim, as you know, you're going to be at Monkey Jungle in Florida next week, so our program is about a barrel of monkeys.
That's next week on Zoo Parade, folks. Hope you'll all be with us then. And now, this is Jim Herbert saying goodbye for Marlin Perkins, director of the Lincoln Park Zoo, and for his friend, the reticulated python, and all your animal friends. Don't forget, it's winter, a lot of slush and snow. Drive safely, because the life you save may be your own.